Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unique Peace. I am Janice. I am a Reiki Master Teacher and Psychic Medium here on Long Island. Today, I'm very excited to talk to Lynne Juneau. She is a fellow Psychic Medium and healer. She has a very interesting story, and she is also the host of the podcast Kaleidoscope of the Soul, which can be found on the Sacred Spiral Network on YouTube. Sorry. So I'm excited to learn more about Lynne's history. So let's join me in welcoming Lynne. Hello, Lynne.
Hey, Janice. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the show. So I actually have seen you a couple of times on the live stream of consciousness and Holding Space, which are two shows hosted by my other half, Michael Zinn. I've also seen your show, Kaleidoscope of the Soul.
Wonderful.
So we have our connections through media and through communications. But I don't know your story. Would you please start off by sharing your story with us?
I'll be glad to. Sometimes I think, well, other people have a much, fuller biography. They've established, they've written books and they've established companies and whatnot. But I think a lot of people will be able to relate to this in that I came of age at a time when there was not a lot of guidance for having a spiritual path. But even as a small child, I was I would say very spiritual, even more than religious. Okay. And I was raised in a traditional, religion, the Lutherans, the Lutherans.
I'm a fellow Lutheran. LCMS.
You too? Oh my goodness. Wow. Missouri Synod, which was very, very strict. And I would say it gave me a good base in some ways, but it also gave me a bit of a platform for rebellion, if you know what I mean, because I know this is going pretty far back, but when I was about 7, I made an appointment with the minister of our church, who was a very kind man. I had questions. Wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. Even at 7 or 8, I'm like, and he tried to answer those questions. But honestly, by the time I was a teenager, I was reading Edgar Cayce. I was doing yoga. And you got to picture, this is back in the mid to late 60s. So I caught the tail end of the hippie thing. Yeah. It's probably fortunate that I wasn't any older because I would have gotten into even more trouble than I did. But I did get a lot of the spiritual influence. And so I was reading about other religions and other philosophies, kind of on the down low. So about the time I was 15 or 16, I bought a pack of Gypsy Witch fortune-telling cards. Have you ever seen those?
I have not, but I can only imagine what your parents' reaction was because I came home with this. Like, we went to an estate sale. My aunt and I was visiting Minnesota, and I came home with this little itty bitty deck of tarot cards, and nobody stopped me. They were all kind of looking like, okay, what do we tell her? Other than those are fancy playing cards. They didn't tell, and my aunt said, be very careful with those. And
wow.
I have a whole story behind that, but that was my introduction to fascination with tarot cards. So wow. I can only imagine. And I was like 12.
Okay. Mainly my parents figured I was a good kid. And as long as I was coming in at curfew, I ran around and did stuff they really weren't aware of. I was on the low.
You were running and right on that line. Okay, got it.
Got away with a lot, tell you what. So I went to my local park where I used to like to hang out. And just for fun, I started reading these cards for people. And pretty soon I had a line around the block of people wanting these readings and coming back. Wow. And go, oh, that happened. If you want to laugh, look at these on Amazon. They are the scariest. I mean, they throw people getting murdered and falling from towers and crashing and burning and they death
Oh,
and
so it's like the Rider Waite on steroids.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, exactly. So I kind of backed off from them. And again, I didn't have anybody to guide me. I have been looking through a lot of my adult life for proper guidance for developing this stuff. And now and again, I would drop into a class and they'd say, "Oh yeah, yeah, why are you sitting on that side of the table? You should be, over here." And
I hear you.
yeah, you too. And I'll bet you've had this experience too, where I took this class and I said, "Okay, let's try this out. We're going to see if you're sensitive to what's going on in somebody's body, and you're just going to hover your hand a few inches above their body." I'll bet you're good at that too, right? And
I'm a Reiki master.
that's it, right? And I'd always, yeah, hurts there, hurts there, hurts there. Ooh, what's going on here? So that's always been there. But I have a long history of kind of running towards it and then kind of running away because I was lost in the woods, making a living in the real world, the 3D world. I've been
All of that.
all of that, right? So kind of fast forward into the 70s, and I was living in Seattle. And I met a couple of like-minded ladies, and they weren't that easy to find. So I'm like, oh boy, I have somebody to hang with, right? And one of them was this nurse named Martha. And she goes, "You can do psychometry." I said, "What the heck is psychometry?" No clue.
Here, let me give you my dad's watch.
That's just about what she did. She goes, "Oh, you pick up information from objects." And she goes, "Watch. I bet you can do this." So she tells me to close my eyes and open my hand. And she puts a stone in my hand. And she goes, "Oh, just open your mouth and, whatever comes out," right? I went back to a cave. She's going to, "No, that's too far back. That's the origin of the rock. Go forward, go forward." Okay. And I go, "Okay." And finally I said, "Well, there's this man and woman arguing. They are having one heck of a knockdown, drag out fight. And I don't know what that's about. And now I've got a head of steam and she's going, "Stop." I go, "They're really not getting it." She goes, "Stop." Their marriage was in trouble. She and her husband, and I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
That was in the stone. And she goes, "Yep, you're good at this. Give me my rock back." And that was the end of that. So it's been kind of like that. And every now and again, I would, I'm clairaudient. I would hear a message from somebody's departed loved one. And I felt duty bound to deliver it, although it's like, okay, no training. I'm not formally a medium. I don't know. But I would just say, "Hey, if you're open to hearing this," and I would deliver it. And it was understood by people, and it would just spontaneously happen. Right. So you probably seen in my bio, I've had a lot of my career experience in sales. Mm-hmm. And also in private investigations. And
I bet you're good at that one too.
The niche I found in private investigations, you might think, "Oh, maybe Lynne went into something exciting like missing persons and stuff like that." Well, we did a certain amount of what we call locates. In other words, people owed money or there were insurance companies after them, and I would look for them. But my real niche turned out to be in the early 90s, especially in California, people were filing workers' compensation claims against their employers for stress, for emotional stress. And it got completely out of control, right?
Sounds like it could. I'm just saying.
If they could show 10% of their stress came from work, they got some kind of money. Well, shoot, you get that driving to work, right? That's crazy. So I was doing insurance defense work, and they would plunk all this information down in front of me. And back then, you could get credit reports and medical records and employment records. And pretty soon, I knew more about them than their family did. But I would go and interview the claimant, and their employer, if they were available, their coworkers, and I could sense who was lying. I could sense, okay, there's a deeper story here, and there always was. If they were stressed out, yeah, they were stressed out because they had kids in jail and they had substance abuse problems and horrendous stories I heard from this, right? But being intuitive definitely did help. If I got an assignment and they plunked 3 files down on my desk, I could go like this. I go, oh, this one's going to be a problem child. And it always was, right? Oh, and this one's going to be easy, and this one's going to be fascinating. And I really had a heads up with that stuff.
So as you fast forward and you're in and you're out and you're in and you're out, and I understand that. I think a lot of us in the beginning are in and out, especially when you come from families very similar to you, where you don't have a lot of guidance because you're the first, or you're the first who will willingly acknowledge it in the open. It's like, grandma, over there had it, but we don't say nothing. And my,
Yeah.
So how did you start? You met Martha and you told her about her bad marriage, and but how did you start kind of honing and developing and getting to where you are now?
I would say my journey became way more intentional. This is late, okay? 2019.
So recently. Nice.
Really, especially as far as mediumship. Excuse me. I was able, before that, I would say 10 years even before that, I hung out my shingle. Actually, when I lived in North Dakota, don't you know? And but I still had no training. I had no mentorship. I just knew that a lot of the time I could do this, but I was really good sometimes, and then sometimes it was just kind of hit and miss, right?
Yep.
By 2019, just before the pandemic, I came back to California to live and started connecting with really good teachers. Okay. Some of them from across the pond who happened to be here visiting, like Eileen Davies. Maybe you've heard of her.
I've heard of Eileen.
Lovely lady. And eventually in 2019, I went to Arthur Findlay College. Now,
I have a couple of friends who went to Arthur Findlay.
Oh, it's Harry Potter land over there. Hogwarts. I as another medium, this is going to make you laugh. I'd never been overseas, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to spend this money, and I'm going to get brave, and I'm going to go overseas, and in 1 week they're going to turn me into a really good evidential medium. Honest to God. That's it. One trip to England and I got it in the bag, boy. No,
it doesn't work that way.
No, I got my feet wet. I met some amazing people, some of whom are still my friends. Okay. I met Colin Bates and studied under him for 2. Now, I didn't get to study with Colin Bates at Arthur Findlay College. I kept running into him in the hallways, and I was so freaked out that he would go, "Dear, can I help you find something?" Because it's like a maze there. If you don't know your way around Arthur Findlay, it's like, oh, I'm lost again. And he was so sweet to me. And I thought, if I ever get a chance to study under this man, I'm going to. Next year comes the pandemic, and everybody's on Zoom. And sure enough, I studied with him for 2 years.
And when you were at Arthur Findlay, who did you study with there?
Jim Thompson, I believe, was one of them. Sandy Baker was another.
Sandy, yeah.
Yeah. And very nice people. Angie Morris, I believe, was another one. This is going back a little ways. One of the ladies I studied under, I think, was from Northern England, and her accent was so heavy that I had a little trouble understanding her. I really was had the deer in the headlights look for a week. But it was an amazing experience. Very glad I did it.
And that experience, and then studying under Colin for 2 years. So now you feel more confident.
Yes. Yes, lot more confidence, much better base, and of course, with the mediumship, I continue to study. Um, I study with Jennifer Rose. I've done a bit of work with Colby Rebel, and we'll probably do some more study with her. And I've connected with people in the UK. It's been really fascinating. There's a Scottish medium who's very dear to me named Evelyn Elliott, and she's been doing this for only 30 years, right? A newbie. Amazing lady. And I've joined her circle, which is based in Scotland. So once again, I almost need a translator. Sometimes they tell jokes and they're allegedly in English, but I don't know. I just count on them to be kind. I don't know what they're saying, really. But the circle has helped considerably. It's really that opportunity for like weekly one-on-one practice, coaching in a small group. I was looking for that in person here in California and just wasn't able to find it because again, the pandemic, everybody quit meeting in person. It was hard to get anybody to even be in the same room with for a while.
No, absolutely. The same here in Long Island, New York. So we understand.
Sure.
Now that you have had some formal training and you feel more confident, and you know you can reconcile those two halves of your life, because I feel that the Lutheran Church, specifically for me, you can speak to you, it did give me a good, strong spiritual base. It wasn't always hellfire and brimstone. In fact, most of my pastors were not that way. They did talk about a kind and loving God, but they also laid the foundation of having faith.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that faith and you combine it with this new spirituality, mediumship, and putting those together and kind of reconciling. How has that helped you find peace in your life?
My connection to a higher power has been there since I was a child. I mean, I was definitely born with it, and then the church influence did help. But even now, how about especially now as an adult? I'm also a person with long-term sobriety. So that Dale, thank you. Well, by the grace of God, yes. 37 years. And longer than some of my friends have been around. It's like, oh my God. You were born when? Oh, no. Okay. I remember that year. Anyway, daily conscious contact with my creator, which has evolved to now a morning practice that if I neglect it,
it catches up.
Well, it does. And it also, when I go out into the 3D world, because I try to do this in the morning early, I feel like I forgot something, like I didn't put on my underwear or something. It's just, things are off. You know?
I know. I understand.
Like you think, oh, I'm fine. You know, I've been doing this for weeks. I've got a buildup of energy. And then you go to Walmart and go, oh, no. I forgot something, like my connection to God. And in fact, one of my mentors got me in the habit of, when you're out in the 3D world and you park the car, if you can remember to take a deep breath and ground a little bit and then go into Walmart, it helps considerably. Okay, so that morning practice of mine and sitting in the power on a regular basis, 2-3 times a week, ideally for me. I won't say that, you know, I adhere to it 100%, but when I'm doing that 2 or 3 times a week, when I go to do mediumship, I'm not questioning myself so much. I'm saying, oh, like going to the gym.
Yeah, I love
It's
that.
right. It's like building a muscle. And what are you going to do? Are you going to get no exercise and then for weeks and then go out on the tennis court and expect to be good? When that's the analogy I always come back to. It's just like developing muscles and being good physically at something. And still, see how many people identify with this, the imposter syndrome, like, oh, maybe I'm just imagining this. Maybe I made it up in my head. But when you check in with your sitter and they go, how did you know that? How did you know that? That there's the validation. So that's a lot of what helps me. And you were asking me what keeps me level, what keeps me at peace?
Well, it's like, how have you found that peace? And then how do you personally define peace?
Oh. I define peace as being calm within myself, of being trusting enough of my higher power to quit trying to run the world, which it turns out I'm no good at all. Trusting that higher power to be calm and say, my life is really not entirely my business. I need to get out of the way and let the angels and source arrange things instead of me trying to arrange them and thinking I have to put all that effort into it.
That is so hard.
Yeah.
Anybody who says, oh, that's easy is, I'd like to know what you're taking to make it easy.
Is there a prescription for that? No.
No.
Yeah. It's simple to say and it's just so difficult to do because do you find this too? I keep trying to take control back because I think I'm somewhere in me is like, wait a minute. If I'm not putting forward enough effort, are my guides and God going to be disappointed and say, oh, she's being a slacker. She just expects us to do it all for her.
Yes, I have that same problem. Guilty as charged.
We'll have coffee. We'll talk. It'll be all right. Yeah, it's a tough one because there's that fine line, right, between showing up for life, doing our due diligence, doing what we're supposed to do. There's a line between that and saying, okay, if I can get my husband to do this, and if I can get the right parking space, and if I'm running the world again, everything will be okay. I just have to get these people to do what I want them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No.
Unfortunately, no. Sad, hard, but true.
Yeah. So, me trying to run the world, it is not it. So my meditation really does help with that. It's one of the reasons I really need to stick to it. Part of my meditation involves traveling, flying up to this little platform where I meet with my 3 main guides. And when I think of myself as part of a team, that's very helpful. When I feel like I'm doing it all myself, that's very scary. It's not the thing to do. When I think of, okay, my team's got my back, it's going to be okay. And if I don't plug into that daily, I'm kind of lost.
I understand that completely. And how does that help you bring peace into your life?
By minding my own business and there's a saying in AA, cleaning up your own side of the street.
Yeah.
Taking care of just what is mine. What am I thinking? What am I saying? What am I doing? Instead of obsessing about what everybody else is doing and thinking I can change it. It brings peace to me to know if I'm taking care of my side of the street, that's really all that's required of me. It's all that's expected.
And as you find peace in your daily life through your practice and you bring peace into your own life, how do you find that helps you bring peace into others' lives?
Isn't it interesting how when we enter a room or even enter a building, you know it changes the energy.
Yeah.
We forget how powerful we are, but once in a while, I really see evidence of it and I really get a sense of it where, okay, how do I bring peace to others? When I'm out in the 3D world, if I'm not being angry and hostile and wound up over the traffic or whatever, okay, if I have a smile on my face and if I'm out there with purple hair and people look at me and they go, people have a tendency to smile and relax and think they can just go ahead and talk to me. This is one of the most interesting things I've ever done, is to put these crazy colors in my hair, which to me is just a fun form of self-expression. But what's interesting is the effect it has on other people, because it's almost like, look, that lady is not taking life. They look at me. That lady's not taking life so seriously. She's got the boldness to go out there with purple hair and smile. And people of all ages, all races, it does not matter. They'll say, oh, I love your hair. And they'll smile and talk to me. So I've just raised the energy a couple people at a time, either because they're puzzled and they think it's funny, or because they think it's fun and they're enjoying it. It doesn't matter.
Very true.
So our energy changes every environment we go into. And this has been a real lesson in that.
That's amazing, because when I too have the purple hair.
I see that.
And it does. People are like, oh, I love your hair. And it's nice, because I don't know about you, but if I see somebody who's got like stunning hair, especially those of us brave enough to do not natural colors, I feel that should be recognized.
Absolutely. And isn't it interesting how it changes things? And by the way, that color, we might not say it's natural, but it suits you. And that's another thing. The fact that if the camera is not lying to me, yours is a little more auburn and a little bit darker red. Mine comes out a little different every time. But the fact that there's a lot of purple in it, I feel I've been told there's a lot of purple in my aura. Okay. And I don't know if you see aura. I sense that more than I feel it, I would say. But for you, I feel there's probably a good amount of red in there in your energy, in your aura, and red in a good way. You have a good, strong chi, primary energy. Would that be true for you?
Not at this moment, but yeah.
Maybe not today. Okay.
I try and stay grounded and focused.
Okay.
So yes, I will say that that would be where the red is coming from, knowing the colors. So,
okay.
And like the other days, it's just kind of like a big, like, Inside Out, anger is red. I feel like a bright red sometimes. Not anger, but it's like trying to regulate.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to put that primary energy to good use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there I've been told there's a lot of purple. So in the balance of the red and the blue is always where that purple comes in.
Wonderful. And you being a healer, that purple that comes in very handy.
It does. It does. And as you know yourself.
Yeah.
And as we're speaking of bringing people peace, how is this journey and how in finding peace and learning how to use these skills, how does that transform how you read? How do you do things? Do you do things differently? Do you feel you do traditional, or is it kind of combination of both?
Sometimes when I'm doing mediumship, it's pretty traditional. It's just, talking to someone. Um, I think my artistic creative side needed expression. I know I'm trying. Let me go back. So I want to answer your question properly. I would say the fact that I've found more peace within myself has a lot to do with allowing myself to be more authentic and to express my true self more at this time than at any other time in my life. For one thing, I'm not out in the regular workforce. I don't have to conform to anything out there anymore. That has freed me up quite a bit. And I have to say also my age, it's like you get to most of us get to a certain age and we go, you know what? If you don't like it, it's too bad. I have come too far to be caving in to ridiculous. I'm just going to do it because it pleases me. And if you don't like it, oh well, right? So I think I'm more trusting now than before of that relationship and the connection I have with Source because I've been working on it for a few years in addition to being, sober for this many years. And as I get more trusting of that connection, I feel my readings have improved. They've gotten more and more accurate. And I picked up a number of tools, as you know, since you've watched me, that have just enriched the experience for me and helped me relax into what it is I'm getting and stop thinking it's all in my imagination. And it sounds a little contradictory, maybe, but when I started reading ribbons and flowers and rocks, it just it helped me relax even further, I think, and really accept whatever I was getting. If that makes sense?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense because we all, as mediums and intuitives and empaths, receive information and process it differently. And our tools are different. Ribbons are just tools. Rocks and crystals are just tools. Flowers are tools. It's picking up the deck of cards it's just a tool.
Sure.
And it actually, for me, I don't know about you, I only recently started incorporating tarot cards back, tarot cards into my reading, and I've been brave enough to actually own them now because again, there's the story there. That it's like sometimes it's helpful to the person, the sitter sitting in front of us, to have that tool.
That's true. That gives them a focus also. And especially with the oracle cards too, you've got a picture's worth 1,000 words on both sides. Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of oracle decks. You probably do too, and just wonderful array of them. I keep accumulating them, and they're all
I'm sorry, sometimes really I used to buy cards just because the pictures were pretty. I didn't really use them to read, but just because the pictures were pretty. I'm not gonna lie.
One of my favorite artists of all times is Josephine Wall, who I think is still with us. She's in the UK. Part of my 3D career out there in sales was selling greeting cards. And Josephine Wall does these fabulous mystical designs. They're very intricate. It sounds like you've seen her too.
Yeah.
They were my favorite cards, of course. Well, greeting cards. And then recently, I've come across 2 different decks where they have used her artwork in these. One of them is the Mystical Wisdom deck. And the other one, I'm sorry, I forget the name of it. I bought it as a gift for a friend of mine. She doesn't know yet she's going to get it. But there's a second deck out there that's just gorgeous. And all of those small pictures and colors and all the artwork, that does help us tune in, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And I find it puts sometimes when I feel the sitter is blocked, using a tool whether it's a crystal or my notepad or what have you, puts the sitter more at ease and more receptive. And if you have cards or you have tea leaves or whatever you're using, it puts them at ease because then you can say, I see it. I see it, because they have a hard time, like, "What do you mean you hear it? It's all in your head." I mean, it's then it makes you question yourself, like, "Did I just this in my imagination?" And it's like, "Do I have a cousin Joe?" Um,
That's the ongoing argument anyway. It's like, no, get in the background.
right. So you have a lot of tools, like the ribbons were a new thing to hear about, and how did you come into using ribbons to do readings?
I happen to be reading about spiritualism and mediumship, and excuse me, I read that there are only two tools that the spiritualist churches will approve of using to do mediumship. One of them's ribbons, the other one's flowers. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And of course, I love working with color, and I just wasn't sure how to incorporate it. And Kelly Brickle, who I'm sure you know, my producer on Kaleidoscope, said, oh, I know a guy who does absolutely fabulous ribbon readings. And if you're thinking of going into this, I really recommend you get a reading from him. So Jeff Jowett over in Palm Springs, and she had interviewed him once a long time ago. This man, oh gosh, he's only been doing this for about 25 years or so. So we get on Zoom, and he does this amazing multi-layered, multi-subject reading for me, which incorporated oracle cards and ribbons. And he would lay the ribbons in crossways patterns and then draw oracle cards and lay them on top of the colors, depending on time frame and elements like that. Oh my gosh, what an amazing reading. Well, that inspired me. And what I found out is that this is a very popular thing to do in the UK, to read with ribbons. But what most folks do is they will chuck all of these pretty colored ribbons into a box, and either the reader or the sitter will draw one out, and they start the reading from there. You know, and I'm compulsively neat and kind of orderly, and I thought, oh my gosh, really? We're going to chuck the ribbons in a box? I don't think so. And I wanted to incorporate this into doing lives. And I thought there's got to be a better way to do that. And so I call this a divine download, but eventually looking around Amazon and doing stuff like that, I know you've seen this, but I came up with this contraption. And I don't know if you wanted this to be part of our interview, I can come up a little higher, and you.
No, it's okay. It's just, how did you incorporate the ribbons in is the question.
Okay, they're all numbered, and so since I dabble in numerology, I bring numerology into it. There's 50 ribbons on this display. They're all, so numbers between 1 and 50. And people take such delight in this. It's almost like it brings out the kid in people. Say, oh, I like the blue ribbon, or I'm going to pick number 11. So when I do the readings now, I'll usually choose one ribbon and then ask them to choose a number between 1 and 50. And I blend that together with the numerology. But people just really get excited about the colors.
They're pretty.
And I am able to do mediumship with these. Psychic readings it comes much easier to me. The mediumship I have to work a little harder at. But a lot of the time, just running my hands up and down the ribbon, I will start getting information about people's departed loved ones. And so I can see why the spiritualists allow it.
So that brings me to our final question, and that is, what's in your toolbox? So if you have someone who is sitting before you, or a friend, and they're out of sorts and discombobulated, or just not themselves, and it's kind of like off kilter, What is your go-to? What do you like to do to bring them back to the present moment and bring them back to peace?
One of the best tools in my toolbox is laughter. And not to brag on myself, but I think most people who know me agree that I have a good sense of humor. And I have a saying about myself that I could probably make people laugh on their deathbed. Because life is ironic and funny, and I have been known to make people laugh when they really are grief-stricken and in tears, and I'm gentle with that. It's not sarcastic humor. It's like, oh, so and so would find this funny, and we have a good laugh over that. And I would say that's my favorite tool in my toolbox is humor and laughter, and also getting people to take a deep breath and see the big picture with me. I feel that I'm good a lot of the time at taking a step back and encouraging my friends or clients I work with to take a step back and say, wait, you're really focused on this one incident, and I understand it upsets you and you're getting obsessed about it, but take a step back and look at what this did for your life overall. What did it do? And what was your takeaway? What did you learn from it? For example, I have a fellow medium, dear friend of mine, and when I started reading for her, the first thing I heard is, yep, she's a medium, and then some, seventh generation medium. The second thing I heard was people are going to be very jealous of her. She deals with that a lot. So she had an incident where she was supposed to go in partnership with somebody, and they were going to let her do readings in their physical space. They had a shop somewhere. Well, my friend read for this lady and blew her away. She's so good. This lady never got in contact with her again. She was supposed to share her shop with my friend, and she shut it down. My friend was so angry and kept bringing it up. And I said, sure, listen, you're missing the point. You're missing the universe's big point, is that this is a heads up for the kind of thing that's going to happen, number one. Number two, that lady felt threatened by you, and she's not the last one. That's number two. Number three, that was a compliment. Her shutting you down? No way does she want you competing with her. She's not as good at mediumship. You keep going back and telling me you're mad at her. This woman did you a favor. You got to look at the big picture. And I got her calmed down.
Blessings in disguise. I mean,
absolutely. And we miss those, don't we?
We do. We do. And that has a lot to do with we are human. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you've been guilty of it at some point.
Sure.
And it's missing the big picture and missing the blessing in disguise. Like, I really wanted this. I really, really wanted it. No, you didn't.
You think you did.
But no. No.
Isn't hindsight great for that?
Hindsight's great for that. It's
what I do sometimes to calm myself down, because I look back, speaking of being human, I go, why did I turn left when I should have obviously turned right?
Mm-hmm.
And I try to put myself like in an elevated position and go, okay, if I was one of my guides and I was trying to teach Lynne something, and I was like corralling her this way or guiding her, what was the lesson here?
That's the question. I will ask myself that sometimes, like, what's the lesson? What am I supposed to be learning, and what am I supposed to be teaching? Because sometimes I feel like I'm supposed to be teaching. It's like, well, why isn't my student getting it? And when I say student, I mean just my coworker or the person sitting next to me who have been trying to help my friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know there's a lesson for me, and I'm like, okay, well, what's my lesson? But at the same time, what am I supposed to be teaching? Because it is symbiotic.
And whatever we learn for ourselves, that's wisdom. that we can pass along to others. If we don't have a wide range of life experiences, like I was an alcoholic for all those years and running amok out in the 3D world. Well, now when people come to me and either they've had challenges with substance abuse, try to find a family where that hasn't been an issue for someone. It's almost impossible now, right? And I can honestly say, yeah, I have life experience with that on both ends.
Yep. And I find it interesting because either we all have our life experiences, but those life experiences bring the people we need to help. It's like having survived domestic violence, having had an eating disorder, having experienced loss at a very early age, I can help those people as much as you can help someone who is struggling with sobriety and feeling lost along the way.
Absolutely. Isn't it like we have little magnets in us? Oh, that person's got the same issue.
I think it's Spirit's way of making sure as we serve, we have communities to serve.
Absolutely.
And it's an odd way of looking at it, but it's like I'm out there in the community to serve, and I'm finding more and more people that I'm serving. I can say, like you said, I speak to that experience. And at the same time, as I'm elevating, so my experiences are changing. But there's always work to be done.
Always. And the fact that we've survived these things and we have better lives now, that brings hope to people, doesn't it?
It does. And that every experience adds to that toolbox.
Oh, another tool in the toolbox, gratitude. Yes?
Always.
Yeah. Because even on a bad day, when I do that every night. I don't know. Is that part of your practice as well?
It's my morning practice.
Oh, this is my evening practice. Okay. So at the end of the day, when I think I've had a difficult day or a ho-hum day, it is just amazing. I will, like my husband will come home from work and I'll go, well, another boring day in the life of Lynne. My days are never boring. They're like a three-ring circus. Are you kidding? And when I write it down at the end of the day, not only has it been a fascinating day, but there is just so much to be grateful for, including whatever I've learned, that I go, I almost feel like apologizing to my guides sometimes. Well, no, you did a good job. It's all right. It's just, I missed it. You're good.
Let's try again tomorrow.
Yeah, for real.
And as we've learned a lot about each other and peace, is there anything else surrounding the subject of peace that you would like others to take away today?
I'd like to say that I remind myself, as I remind all of us, that we are in this crazy 3D world, but we are souls having a human experience. And when we start to get too caught up in the emotions and everything that's going on here, if we could just stop and take a deep breath and remember that we are soul. It's hard to do, but how much more peaceful would we be? And when we're peaceful, that rubs off on everyone around us.
I agree. Thank you, Lynne, so much.
Thank you for having me. It has been a joy to talk to you.
It has. And everybody can catch Kaleidoscope of the Soul every other Friday on the Sacred Spiral Network and on Facebook. So I recommend everybody checking that out. And Lynne, I'm going to put you in the green room. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on Unique Peace and learning more about how to bring peace into our everyday lives. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.